So welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a recap of Greenleaf Season 3 Episode 9 Runaway Train. I think that's what it is. Whatever. Okay, so it opens with Gigi, Gigi is with Bishop and they're kind of watching everything come together for his Jubilee ceremony. And they exchanged a few words. And he heads back to his office and Karine hands him an envelope. And he made some comment that, I guess May let you up for air or something, she said. I guess he figured she's been working her so hard that she can't help him with his Jubilee celebration. And so she was kind of somber and he was like, what is it? He said, well, those are the divorce papers. And he was like, so all I have to do is sign them and it's all over. She was like, well, actually both of you have to sign them. And so he took them in the office and kind of thought about it for a while. Like, it was, you know, it's like you think about things in abstract, and then when it's do or die, and you're kind of forced to sit and confront it. I mean, he already admitted that he had brushed things with her as far as filing first, but I think now it's like really real. Like, this our marriage is actually going to, once I put my signature on these papers, our marriage is going to be over. And so he had a little moment, and then you see he's talking to Percy, and he told Percy that he got the papers today, and Percy was like, well, you know, as soon as you do that, then you'll be able to live again. You'll be able to live your life. And I'm like, I don't know if you should take advice from Percy. I mean, he had admitted that he'd gone through a couple of women, and here he is in his twilight years alone. And I think that I don't know if he's the right person to give you advice on your 40-year marriage. But at the same time, you know, it's I don't know. I'm kind of split down the middle about it. But so next day, I guess he's back at the church and he's walking with Gigi and he's asking about how Sophia is doing. And he said that, you know, he missed her and he should, you know, want to stop by and see her. She, you know, thought that would be a great idea. And then she called him to the office and said she wanted to talk to him for a minute. And so she started asking him about Rochelle, and all of a sudden he get defensive. And she asked him about the money. And he was like, well, who told you that your mother is wrong about Rochelle? And she was like, no, Mom, it's not about Mom, this is me. I don't trust her. He was like, but you did allow her to help out with the legal defense fund. She said, yes, I did. I allowed her to help out because I don't trust her. He said, what does that even mean? Basically, I'm trying to keep my enemies close. I know that bitch is up to something, and the only way for me to find out what it is if I keep her at arm's, you know, keep her, I don't want to say in arm's reach, well, I guess that would be, just in case you have to snatch the bitch's wig and drag her to the ground. But anyway, he was like, the only reason, he said, he made a decision because he thought that Gigi trusted her. You didn't make that damn decision because you thought Gigi trusted her. You were desperate, and I don't know, maybe you do have some feelings for this woman, and you're blind to what could be possibly going on. And so she kept asking him the amount, and he wouldn't tell her the amount. And she was like, Daddy, get that money back. He said, I will, with dividends. I'm like, that's what you think. Okay, so the bishop, he gets home, and Charity is there with Aaron and Kevin, and they're just playing around with the baby. And he walks in and, you know, spends a few seconds in there, and you can see that Charity is uncomfortable, or she's, you know, deep in thought, like she's not really in the moment. And so he held the baby for a little while, and the baby started crying, and he gave the baby back to Kevin. And then Aaron told him, you know, was asking him, like, have you spoke to my father? And he's like, no, I saw the missed calls, but I just haven't had a chance to call him. And he was like, well, he has pancreatic cancer, and he's going through the chemo and radiation, and he's really sick. And so Bishop said that he would give him a call. And so he turned, and you can see the wheels spinning. I don't know if because, you know, he feels betrayed. Like, that's his friend, and he slept with his wife, but at the same time, can he really be that upset? I mean, you slept with your wife's sister, so. Okay, so as he's walking, you can see him rubbing his hands because, you know, he does have Parkinson's. And so he walks over to Sophia and went to visit with Sophia. And she was happy to see him, and he just wanted to reassure her that just because, you know, things are going on right now between me and your grandmother doesn't mean that I won't, you know, that you won't see me anymore. And she would say, you know, I hope that's not the case. And so he went and talked to her, and she was like, she feel like she spends most of her life in that room, because it seems like every time she goes downstairs, I don't know, just people expect something from her. They want, she just feels. And it just makes her angry. He said, don't you ever get angry? And he's like, about what? About having Parkinson's? She was like, well, yeah. He's like, when you get as old as I am, things just fall apart. And unfortunately, that's the unfortunate truth of aging. I remember my mom shortly before she passed. The last time she came to visit, and we were having a conversation about something, and she was like, to age is to suffer. And I'll never forget those words. She's like, to age is to suffer. And you know, he wanted to know if she was going to come to church with him. She was going to go to church. He was like, well, you know, it's to my Silver Jubilee, and I have a special message just for you. Initially, he was like, no, I don't want to go. And then, you know, after he laid on the little guilt or whatever, she was like, I'll think about it. And so, you know, they had a little moment, but yeah. So you could, you know, Sophia, she's working through it, and I think that, you know, they want her to, you know, just to snap out of it and to, you know, get back into it and get back into the church. And I'm like, Sophia ain't gonna do shit until she is good and damn ready to. And I think the more they pressure her, the more she's gonna fight against it. And just like anything else, you know, the more you pressure somebody the more you tell an abused woman that she needs to leave her husband, I'm just making a comparison, that he's terrible and that he's horrible. If you ever try to talk to your girlfriend and tell her about the guy she's with, he ain't shit, he ain't doing nothing, and it's like the more you talk about the dude, the more she love him. And it's like people are not gonna do what they don't want to do. And I think that she's gonna eventually find her way there, but she's just not there yet. And I think that people should just leave her be for just give her some more time. And so Bishop heads back to Percy's, and he lives near some railroad tracks. So I'm like, oh my God, that almost sound like when I was in school. My university was near railroad tracks, so it's like around clockwork, 6 o'clock in the morning. I went to school in Memphis. That damn train would come through, and so he's right near the tracks. Nice house, but location. Anyway, so he go on to the house, and he sees some scantily clad woman in the kitchen. And so he looks at her, and he looks around, and he looks back at her, and because she has her back to him, and he clears his throat, and she turns around and says, hey, you must be the bishop, and he said, oh, you must be Percy's friend. And she's just standing there, so he can get an eyeful, just get, you know, take it all in, right? And in the end, he was like, I think he asked if Percy was there, and no, he's not. And in the end, he sent her on her way, and he just looking like, what the hell was Percy thinking? Like, I don't understand why do some men think that the way for a man to get over a woman is to get another woman? Like, this is not some fly-by-night relationship this man had. There's a 40-year marriage on the line here, and he's supposed to be jumping to bed with some harlot. Oh my goodness. Okay, anywho. So she left, and so next thing you know, you see him at Jacob's house. And the bishop was asking about Kerissa, and he was like, well, you know, she's not really talking to me right now. And we just thought it best that it would be good for grandfather, you know, Sunday. So the little boy is over there, he playing with the little train tracks, and they're over there talking, and he's telling Jacob that he got the divorce papers. And said he hasn't signed them yet. So first, let me backtrack. He said that she's not really talking to him, and he was like, why? Because what's going on between you and Tasha? He said, what's going on between us? And he said, when I walked in, it definitely looked like something was going on between you. And of course, Jacob was like, no, I'm not that kind of guy anymore. And the bishop looked at him and was like, okay, anywho. Now, basically he was telling him that he doesn't want to sign the papers, and Jacob said, don't sign them. And he was like, well, then what? Did we just have him just be out here in limbo? And so Jacob was like, well, why don't you have your Jubilee, and she has her ladies' day, and then you go to your corners and everything will be all good. And I'm like, that's a very childish way to look at it. You know damn well, as stubborn as the two of them are, especially your man and me. Now, I don't see them getting a divorce, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, okay, I'm not buying that. So now basically he's just his wheels are turning, and he's basically like, you know, the divorce papers in my briefcase over there like a bomb. Like his whole, I mean, with the flick of the wrist, everything that you had, your life is going to be forever changed. On top of you being sick, on top of stuff going on with your granddaughters, on top of the tax issues. It seems like every episode, some more shit just piles on. It's just, wow. So Bishop is back at Percy's, and he's staring down at the divorce papers. And so he went outside on the front porch where Percy was standing, and you know, they started talking. And you know, he started talking about May and Lionel and him and Mavis, same. And basically, Percy recommended that he go see Lionel. That they need to have a talk. And so the next day, Bishop goes to see Charity, and because he noticed that when he went into with Aaron and Kevin, that she wasn't all that happy. So she started telling him, well, they're talking about buying a home and getting married. And she was like, I just didn't understand why everybody gets to have their happily ever after and I don't. And to a certain extent, you can understand where she's coming from, because it seems like, you know, you do at sometimes feel like people, you feel like you work hard, but you feel like you've worked hard to accomplish something, but you feel like it's come so easy to other people. And it's like, while other people are making, you know, whipping past you and getting the rewards, it's like you're still struggling. You know, even though you're still pushing, it just seems like your race always seems harder. And so I understand where she's coming from with that. But he talked to her, and you know, talking about, you know, every time that he feels like that, then he just thinks about her sing. He puts on her CD, or he opens the paper and reads about something that Gigi has said, or he thinks about, you know, their mother, and you know how proud he is. Basically how proud of them that he is. And so he asked her what song she was going to sing at his Jubilee, and so she told him. He was like, okay, he was happy about that. So next we're at the Jubilee, and she's singing the place down. He actually asked if he could sing with her, and she was like, I don't think I can't stop you, can I? So now they're at the Jubilee, and she's singing and he's singing, and I mean, it was a nice little duet. And then Gigi got up and said a few words about her father, and I'm like, is Gigi the MC? But you know, she basically got everybody up on their feet, and she talked about, you know, all that her father has done, how he's poured into them in faith and the whole thing, and now they need to give it back to him. And she called him up to the pulpit, and the whole time she was talking, May was just twisting and kind of squirming in her seat, like, okay, like, wait till you see what I got going on. Like, so she was May was May. So he got up, and she was like, maybe Gigi did say, you know, sometimes I wish he wasn't so trusting, but you know, he's my father, and he's done right. And so he walks up, so Gigi calls him up, and he walks up, and he gives her a kiss and a hug, and like, Rochelle's not as bad as you think she is. And she looked at him and said, I hope you're right. And so she walked away so he could have his moment, and he stood there, and all you saw was the lights, and all the people in the crowd was screaming and cheering and the whole thing. And so afterwards, the deacon lady, is that Sykes? I can never remember that woman's name. she was like, I don't know what May and Maxine have under this up their sleeves or what they got planned, but I don't think they could top that. And so Bishop was like, it's not a competition. And the lady said, yes, it is. And so he saw that Sophia did come to his Jubilee. And so she was ready to get up and go home, but he's like, just give me 5 minutes to talk to you. So they go back to his office, and he gave this very heartfelt speech about what he said, life. And, he used the runaway train as an analogy. And, your parents are on this train, and you feel like, I guess your life is spiraling out of control, and your parents would never let that happen. And then he said this, so they want to find out why why the train's moving so fast. And the way it was more poetic the way he said it. I'm not about to go into that whole thing. If you want to know, you're gonna have to watch it. But in the end, he was like, so they go up to see the conductor, and they realize that the conductor, they see tears in his eyes because he doesn't know what's going on either, and he's doing everything he can to fix it. I'm assuming that the conductor is supposed to be God, and this whole thing, and it was really a heartfelt moment. But Sophia was like, she didn't make any promises, but he said his piece, and she got up and was like, told him that she loved him, and she walked away, and he kind of stood there for a while. I don't know if he was crying, if he was in the window, or if he was just thinking back, just deep in thought. But that was a nice scene. That was a really nice scene. So Bishop's ass is sitting there listening to Percy. So Bishop gets home, and Percy is talking about paying for escorts, basically, and how Bishop had something special with Rochelle. Okay. So he goes into his room, and takes his medicine, and he's just looking at himself in the mirror. So the next day he's at the church, and Rochelle is there. And he asked her, why are you in my life? He said, what do you mean? He was like, look at me. I'm an old man. And my body's not what it once was, and it never will be again. And so in a city where you have a lot of studs, and you have people your own age, why are you here? She was like, well, what, you think I'm using you? He's like, well, I'm just asking. And so she said, open that app I showed you so you can look at your investment. So he opens the app, and he looks at the amount. He's like, I've made that already? She was like, yeah. So who's actually using who? I'm in this situation. I'm helping you out with your shit, and I don't really have anything to show for it. So who's using who? And she basically like, I'm sick of your family, all a bunch of snakes, and all y'all do is see snakes. Good luck with your IRS tax bill. So she got up to walk away, and he actually stops her and was like, I'm sorry. He just looks like a fool. But anyway, he was just very, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry I doubted you, and he pulled it in close, and I couldn't bear to look because I didn't want to see them if they kissed or not. So I don't even know whether or not they kissed, but she got his ass. She got his ass. I feel like Florida Evans right now. Damn. I really didn't expect. Okay, back up. So he decided to go see Lionel. And he looked bad. He really did. And they talked for a little while. And he just kept following her. All he could say was, I'm sorry. I am really sorry. I'm really sorry. And the bishop said, you know what broke Jesus' heart? And he's like, the betrayal of a friend. And all he could say was, I'm sorry. And Bishop was like, I forgive you, but we'll never see each other again, not in this lifetime. And so he left. So he's back back in his office, and he signed the damn divorce papers. It was a really somber moment, and so he signed them, and he didn't give them to Karine. He walked over to Mae's office, and he handed her the papers, and he let her know that he had already signed. And first she was looking through a magazine, and she was all smiles, and then he said that these are the divorce papers, not already signed. You can see her entire facial expression change. And he handed them to her, and he was about to walk away, and she said, why? He's like, what do you mean? She's like, why did you sign them? And he was like, you know, I don't deserve this marriage, and I don't think I ever did. And he said that, you know, you can sign them or not. And I think he was still holding out hope that she would back, you know, just change her mind. But before he walked away, she opened that envelope and she thought about it for a few seconds and she went on to sign. And you could see why she was signing. His heart was broken. She was crushed. They were both crushed. But you could tell he really didn't think that she would, you got the feeling that he really didn't expect her to sign. I don't really think that she expected him to sign either. And so she signed them and she gave them to him, and they kind of stared at each other for a while. And he gave so he walked out. And he gave the divorce papers to Karine to message to the attorney. And she was like, oh, you just missed Sophia. And so he walked in the office and she gave him his Bible back. So I guess it's official. Sophia will not be going back to the church. So God damn it. Greenleaf on. That was really sad. Shit. Now I gotta go to bed. Get my ass up and go to work tomorrow. Okay, so I'm gonna end this here, and that's basically how the episode ended. So it ended with him sitting in his office holding the Bible. So I'm gonna end this. I got to go to bed. It's almost 12 o'clock, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.